I hope everybody else had as much fun as I did listening to Ms. McCain say ghetto. I almost wet my pants. It was so funny. Anyway, I'm sorry. It was pretty fun. But, I know most of you are like in the middle and maybe finishing up your meal, but it's a little, I'm in need of a little evening stretch, and I'm going to ask you to humor me by standing up and joining in with me, if you don't mind. It's just a little short one, so you can roll your shoulders back. It's a little bit. That doesn't feel good. It does, doesn't it? You know it. And then forward. Okay, and oh gosh, roll your neck in both directions. I know, I hear the cracking from up here, and part of it's mine. And then, so take your hands up and like wiggle them up so you get that nice little stretch going over here. Now turn around and face a neighbor and give them a hug. After a while, usually, okay, you can sit down now. You can stop the hugging. You finish your dinner. And I do have to admit, I often wonder, because I often like to do that, to sort of get people like feeling good about life in general when I do a talk. And I often have to wonder, how many hookups actually happen after this? I do. I can't help myself. But, I am naturally a matchmaker. But anyway, it's always nice to be in North Carolina. I think the first time, I came since I was a little girl was just a few years ago when I spoke at the Emerging Issues Forum, and I actually got a chance to meet Governor Hunt, and fell in love with the fact that there were so many people in North Carolina in love with North Carolina, and knowing that there was this feeling among so many folks here, and like in you, Ms. McCain, are just such an embodiment, of that. And I've been hearing it, in the conversations that I've been hearing going around here and the state, that people are really interested in seeing, their state, their community, their hometowns really be the absolute best that they can be. And that really is just all that I'm interested in doing. And just in general, whether it's here and all around the country. And so today, I actually want to use this opportunity to kind of tell you a little bit about, what I believe is the best thing that anybody on the planet can do. Because I believe you don't have to move out of your neighborhood to live in a better one. And I'm going to tell you a few stories about people who decided they weren't going to move out of their neighborhoods. And so I'm going to start actually in Chicago. Brenda Palm's barber was hired to help ex-convicts re-enter society and keep them from re-entering prison. And right now, taxpayers currently spend about $60,000 a year for 1 year keeping a person in jail. And the awful fact is that 2/3 of the people that go to jail once will end up in jail again. Brenda's rate is about 4%. And so what did she do? And it might be obvious to some folks if you're right in the middle of your very, very inner city, really gritty Chicago, maybe you might get it, but I didn't. She actually decided to she come up with a really obvious solution, which was to create a business that used skincare products made out of honey. And that's what she did. It's the basis of a growing social innovation that has some real potential. And it's also, what she did was she hired seemingly unemployable people, men and women, to care for the bees, harvest the honey, and make value-added products that they later sold marketed first and then later sold at Whole Foods. She combined employment experience and training with the life skills that they really needed, like anger management, teamwork, and learning how to talk about their past to future employers that really showed them that they had learned from their mistakes and that they were willing and able to move forward, and there was an eagerness to learn more about their lives. And that's why less than 4% of the people that go through this program end up back in jail. I think these young men and women really learn job readiness and life skills through beekeeping, becoming really productive citizens along the way. And if that's not a sweet beginning, I don't know what else is. And now I'm going to take you to Los Angeles. Andy Lipkis is this gentleman here. And so it's a really interesting kind of thing. And, LA definitely, has some issues. I'm only going to talk about the water issues there right now. It's not enough most days, and when it does rain, it's really too much to handle in terms of floods, how they handle the rain and the stormwater, and the subsequent floods that happen there often. And just to let you know, in this country, second only to Social Security, flood insurance is the second highest federal insurance cost that we cover as a country. So in LA, what they have these issues where there's either not enough, so they have to spend an enormous amount to pump water in, and actually 20% of California's electricity is used to pump water into the state, mostly into Southern California and LA in particular. And they're spending loads to channel that rainwater out into the ocean, when it floods and rains. And so Andy, however, is working on to help LA cut infrastructure costs associated with water management and urban heat island. So they link trees and technology to really create a more livable city. And all that green stuff, when you think about it, naturally absorbs stormwater, and it also naturally cools our cities. And let's think about it. Is it air conditioning you really want, or is it a cooler room? So a few years ago, LA issued this $2.5 billion bond to repair its schools. And Andy and his team discovered that $200 million, nearly 10% of that cost, was specifically to put more asphalt around those schools. And by presenting a strong economic case, they convinced the LA government that replacing much of that asphalt with trees and other greenery would conserve stormwater, reduce their air conditioning costs, and because trees surrounding the schools now save the system more energy than they would spend on horticultural infrastructure. So ultimately, 20 million square feet of asphalt was replaced or avoided, and electrical consumption went down because AC use went down. And while unemployment for people to maintain the grounds went up, the resulting net savings was healthier students and school system employees as well. Now, Judy Bonds is a coal miner's daughter, like for real, coal miner's daughter. And, her family has 8 generations, in West Virginia. And if anybody should be clinging to the past of what, the former glory of coal country, it should be her. But the way coal is being mined right now, in particular through mountaintop removal techniques,